Good morning, everyone. It is 8:30, so thank you all for being on the call promptly. Happy Thanksgiving and happy day after Thanksgiving. It's my hope that you have the resources and the income to do Black Friday shopping, but you've chosen not to. So if that is the case, I believe that you're smarter than the rest. So I just wanted to, first of all, I hope that everyone had a great day yesterday. Spent time with family, friends, whoever it was that you enjoyed yourselves. All right, so today's call is to primarily talk about or discuss, business planning for the rest of 2018. And it's so important that we understand that we're looking at the rest of 2018 and 2019, because I don't want you to forget that there's still time this year to make things happen. So that's really important. So I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to be sharing a few things with you guys, some best practices, some tips. I'm also going to be sharing some information on what's upcoming later this year. So I know, I'll just go ahead and share that right now. So December 6th from 9:30 to 10:30, we're going to be meeting with Dan Longman of Priority Lending. Many of you have heard me talk about Dan Longman and Priority. They're my go-to lender, one of my two. So I do have two affiliate strategic partners who I believe really, really help the buyers and even the sellers when it comes to make sure the buyers are pre-qualified. And that is Dan Longman with Priority Lending and Will Cabin with Cross Country Mortgage. So those are the two that I specifically work with, but we will be having an opportunity to visit with him on the 6th, December 6th. It's just going to be a quick hour type deal. It might go to an hour and a half, but he's phenomenal. He's going to share some more tips with us on how to make sure that we're not driving around unqualified or unapproved buyers in our cars, therefore being a taxi or an Uber driver. So we're going to dive right in. And if you guys see me looking over here to the side, it's because I have my notepad. And one of the first things, in order for us to have a productive December, in essence, and 2019, there are two notes that I have on here, and these things are only going to work. Everything that we're discussing today is only going to work if you are open and honest with yourself. You don't have to be honest with anyone else, but when we start talking about business planning and we start talking about where it is we want to go and what we want to do, you must be honest with yourself. So I'm going to dive in on this first big note, and then we'll, chunk it down as we go. 60% of my week should be spent on needle movers. That means items that actually move the needle. 60% of our weeks should be spent on needle moving activities. It's just another word for my dollar productive activities and income producing activities. And you could tell there are three areas that we want our needle mover activities or our dollar productive activities to be. I'm sorry, guys, my mustache is all up in my nose today. Oh my gosh. The first one is relevance, differentiation, or then contribution. And we'll dive deeper into those on another video. So of course, I'll just do a video on the relevance, differentiation, and contribution after this one. I'll upload it to the group so we don't get bogged down too much here, because I do want to have time to open up at the end for a question and answer. The main thing I want you to understand is that 60% of our work week should be spent on dollar productive activities. And the way we make more money is to increase the outputs that matter. So I know that we get stuck on doing stuff and getting results, but we want to focus on the outputs, the results that matter. If they don't matter, stop increasing them, stop focusing on them. So, how do we go through and even know what we should be doing? So, I'm going to go in right now, and I believe that I'm going to share my screen with you guys because I want us to come in and I want you to be able to see what it is that I'm talking about when I'm talking. All right, right here. Here's a daily schedule. So, time blocking. I know we hear daily schedule, time blocking so much, but I want you guys to understand that when you have a system and a process, you can hold yourselves accountable. I say all the time, if I can't measure it, I cannot improve it. All right. So if I were to ask you, how was your week last week? Or how was your month? If you say good, and then I say, well, what was good? How many transactions? Of course, we'll know the transaction, but if I were to say, how many appointments did you have? You know, those are the things where we don't know. So we don't know how to improve because we haven't measured it. So here's just an example. Now, there are no right calendars. There are no right daily planners, but there are some wrong daily planners. For instance, here you see that they have put in those dollar productive activities. They've come in and they've put in those needle movers into their sample schedule. So return calls, emails, and paperwork, uh, personal notes and calls, a client lunch. You can see here they have wiggle room in case something pops up. They can go ahead and fit things into their day. Call all current leads, appointments. What do we have here? Record video updates for sellers, record video update for database. So that's even put into their calendar. So I wanted you guys to see that right away because we're going to come back and I'm going to show you something that we have right now. So those of you who went with us on the tour of Canvas, you received your 2019 planner. I swear by this. So it has the full month that you can go and schedule, and then it breaks down by the week, right? Hopefully you guys can see that. I am just a believer. You can see right here that I've already gone in and I've put some things in mine for December. Now here's what my November 2019 looks like. I already know the important birthdays. My client birthdays are in here as well. Different appointments that I have, whether I'm speaking, teaching, training, going to NAR in San Francisco this year, Great American Realtor Days. So I've already begun to lay my framework for 2019. So therefore, I know what to expect. I know how that's going to look. Now, part of what we're talking about for success, and I know that I spoke to Chantrell about this, who is also on the call. Good morning, Chantrell. Thank you for getting on. Is that we have to start planning our marketing calendar. So what if you're going to do any type of marketing? Well, whether you're doing or not, you should have a planned marketing calendar. So we should have something for, what are you going to send out, even if it's via email? What are you going to send out in January, February, March, right? Ideally, we should have it for the entire year. If you can't do it for the entire year, can you do that for 6 months? So let me show you guys what it looks like. One of the best. So here is a marketing calendar. Here's my 2019 marketing calendar. This is what I'm going to fill out and finish for this year or for next year. So what's my reason to call in January? In February, for instance, my reason to call in January, I can tell you right now, is going to be tax prep, right? So I'm like, hey, or no, so that might be I don't know if you guys are hearing that, I apologize. So that might be the one that I call for in March to remind people of taxes. January might just be Happy New Year. February, it'd be like, do you have a Valentine? Whatever it is, who or what pop by gift idea. So now we can plan ahead. So if I know in February I'm going to give out the little candy hearts or whatever it is, I can go ahead and start getting those things in December, in January. I might be able, since I already know here that I am going to have to do pop buys in November or December, maybe since things are going on sale right now, maybe since things are going on sale right now for this year's items, maybe I should go ahead and buy some non-perishable items that I can have in my closet. So I'm not surprised when November, December comes, because we know that unless the world ends, after December comes January, after January comes February. B2B endorsement. So who are we going to endorse? Like for me, for instance, in January, I might highlight Dan Longman and Priority in all of my advertising in my email. And then if I know this, I can go ahead and tell them, hey, you know what? I want to feature you in my emails on the bottom in all of my marketing. Right. And that's something that you could tell them that you're going to do. We already have many of our company affiliates and strategic partners on our RPR reports. But if I know that I'm going to feature them in January, in February, March, we can have an idea. We'll fill that out. Business mixers. I'm skipping over the client party simply because if you haven't done a client party, or anything yet, it does take planning, but I have those planning guides. If you message me and tell me that you're interested in doing a client party, we can get those out to you. Then we have the business mixer date. So B2B networking in this industry is probably one of the most valuable networking pieces that we can do, simply because when you have an ally on the other side working for you, I believe that it makes your job easier. Any just listed campaigns, event training, time off, but you'll have this calendar here for the entire year. So now you know how your year is going to look. So, and the biggest part of this is that what I usually do and what my coach has told me to do, when it starts talking about the gift ideas and the party, you can go ahead and on another form, you can go ahead and put in the dollar amounts and what you expect the venue to cost, what you expect everything to cost. So you're not surprised when you're coming up and you don't have the finances to do it at the prescribed time. So that is one way of doing it with your marketing calendar. The next thing that I am going to show you guys is the business plan. Everyone here, especially in real estate, hopefully you've already heard about agent planning worksheet. Do you know what your number of calls are? Do you know? That's one step in it. There are a couple that I use. I'm going to show you. So I use one that Brian Buffini has. It's fantastic because it actually accounts for taxes, commission splits. But here's one that my mentor in the luxury market shared with me. And this one here is from Jack Cotton. So it's an agent business plan. So it's not just one sheet of paper. It really helps you come in and you can look at what the objectives are. So this is what I would usually do with every one of my agents. We haven't done them in a while, but this is what you should do for yourself. So you will put the time frame in and then what your objectives are. What do you want to earn? How many hours? Where do you want your business to come from? Listing side versus buyer side. Then it's going to talk about the situation analysis, right? So you'll come in and you'll break down, well, how much did you make last year? And this is so important because we have the objectives here where it might be 200,000. And in this example is 65,000, what you actually made. This is where you have to be honest with yourself. And this is so important. All right, how many listing leads last year, listing appointments, listings taken, listings sold? So if I were to look at this example right here, if I look at 30 listing leads, 10 appointments, and you only took 3 listings, I would understand, I would know, okay, so if you had listing leads, now, of course, we're going to have to get more listing leads, but right here, this is a 30% conversion rate right here, or 33% conversion rate. Then I look here, that's a 30% conversion rate. Now, the issue is not selling it once you have it. And I hope everyone can see that. The issue for this example was not selling it once they had it. The issue was they lost too many. So maybe this would be a training for saying, all right, let me go through a listing presentation with you. Show me, do exactly what you do on your listing presentations, so that we would be able to identify what the disconnect is here. On the listing leads, tell me what you do once you get a lead. I want the emails that they received. How many times do you call them? What information are you sending them? And then what are you saying in the email, on the phone call? Are you, because they're not getting to the face-to-face appointment. So that's why this is so important. But then we come down here and look at buyer leads, right? How many, if you have 75 buyer appointments and only 8 signed exclusive buyer broker agreements, or turn into deals, that's a huge disconnect. Once again, that would allow your coach, your broker, or if you're the broker of your office, it would allow you to sit down with your agent and say, okay, what are we doing? We need to focus on, doing, improving our training. Now, also what this does is here, we know that we always hear the leads, the listings are, God, or the real estate God's gift to us. But if I were to look at this, it says I'm always analyzing data, right? So if I'm looking here, if on this objective, the example is I want 70% of my business to come from listings, but I want 30% to come from buyers. Why is that an issue? Well, I look here, and the average list price for this example was 200, average sale price was 185. But then we come here and look at average sale price here was 380, right? So then I would say, well, do you really want to? I know that it might be less. So what's more important, the working less hours or easier hours, or the income? 5 transactions versus 2 transactions. How are we going to have to, in essence, flip that for you to be successful? That's something that we would actually look at and try to figure that out for them. In the production targets, this just tells us where we want to be. This is a clear picture. This is what most of us should be familiar with. You need this many listing leads per month. Like, it breaks it down on the listing side. It breaks it down on the buyer side. And that's why I like this example, or this one, so much, because it breaks down on both sides. Now, if you don't care, but you should care. If you don't care, then you can use a standard goal tracking or goal setting sheet. And then prospecting targets, where, and this one I believe is so key, where is your business coming from? Sphere of influence, past clients and customers, FISBOs, expireds, open houses, door knocking. So this is what, see right here. So it says, warning, number of transactions does not match production targets. So it goes in and it tells you, okay, well, it needs to match where the production targets are coming in. So that's something that it tells us. And then on the leads, appointments, listings taken, listings sold, you'll see that here, same thing for the buyers. What I love is that it will come in and tell you, all right, now here, the target after January is over, you come in and you put what you write down or type in what your actual number is. When you know what your actual number is, then you'll see, so what if that number was 10, right? You'll see down on the bottom that it comes to 10. So depending on the flow of the business, I understand that 40% of our leads in real estate, 40% of your leads need to be acquired in the first quarter. So January, February, March. In those first 3 months, you really should have 40% of all the leads you're going to have all year already in your database, already in your CRM. Because then there's a gestation period where it takes them to come in and actually go through the transaction. So if nothing else, I want you thinking between December, January, February, March, you need to make sure that you have 40% of your leads. If you don't have 40% of your leads, in your database, in your CRM, is going to be very, very difficult for you to hit and for you to hit your stride in 2019. So that is this right here. Then once you print this out, it prints out in a very nice book, like a booklet packet type deal. You can have it. I like to keep mine in paper form because I'm not always in my computer, and I just keep mine in the back of my planner along with some daily activity records, some DARs that I fill out. So hopefully you all will find that beneficial. I believe that's it for that one. So let me jump over. All right, so I'm going to pause real quick. Any questions, comments, concerns on what we've shared so far? And then, so from the schedule to the marketing calendar and then over to the business plan. Any questions? If so, just unmute yourself. I'm going to stop sharing. Unmute yourself, or if you feel better, you can just type in a note or comment in the chat section. Now, if you do that in the chat, make sure you decide whether it's going to be to everyone or if you're going to send it to me. We're going to give about 10 more seconds. And if no one has any questions or comments, we're going to continue. All right, we're going to keep rolling then. All right, so now let me see where are we? Oh. Yes, so guys, I will share this video will be uploaded onto YouTube, and then I'll share the link with everyone so that you can go in and you can digest this as many times as possible. Thank you, Cheryl, for asking. So this will be uploaded. It will not be done today. This will probably be done tomorrow, simply because I have some other appointments today. But yes, ma'am, that will be done. All right, so I want to share with you guys right here six success tips for the self-employed. All right. So we know that as agents, we are self-employed. So here they are. So, and I'm just going to run through them because I want to jump over to something else. So the first one is take a risk and do it now. Take a risk and do it now. That's tip number one. So if you've been on the fence about something, go ahead and get off the fence. Take a risk and do that now. So that is going to be a huge, huge one. The second one, create and stick to your to-do list. So whether it's your daily to-do list or, so I don't use a to-do list. I do a priority task sheet. Now, it could be on your phone with any type of app, Wunderlist, or if you have like Google Task, or just your note section. But then you want to make sure that you're sticking to it. Our issue is not doing what's on our task list or doing what's on our to-do list. Our problem is making sure that the highest priority items are at the top of the list. Every day, your number one needle mover, your number one priority should be at the top of your list, and nothing else should get done until the number one is done. Has to happen. Number three is my favorite, track and measure. Do you have a formula to measure your success? Write down your business goals, determine what you will need to accomplish each day to reach them, and start tracking. So if you do not track, you cannot improve. So what you guys are seeing right now is something that I've been looking at and I've been ascribing to my life for about 6 to 7 years. Okay. So when you guys hear me, so whether it's saying have a to-do list, track and measure, if you can't measure, you can't improve it. All of these are things coming off of this list and one also on my computer. The fourth one is get checks ahead. So what this means is that you get checks ahead in our business. Once we close a deal, well, this goes back to, first we have to understand what our monthly expenses are. In our business, there is a monthly There are a set number of monthly expenses. And so you guys, of course, Tamika can understand this as a broker, right? So everyone, what I want you to do is start thinking of your business as a business, not just as I'm doing something and then I get checks. Because you need for your success, you need to transition to saying, okay, what are my expenses? I should be able to ask each and every one of you, what are your monthly business expenses? And you should tell me. What were your expenses last month? You should be able to tell me. If you can't, then you will never be able to do what this says right here and get checks ahead. So the premise is that if I know my expenses are $2,500 a month, you'll see here, stay afloat during slow months by putting money away. Make it a goal to have 3 months of business expenses in reserves. That means that if you close one deal and you make $2,500, you do not go out and splurge and buy something. That means that what you do is you come in, you say, all right, that's one. Let me save as much of this as I can. And then you close another deal. That might be $5,000. Until you have $7,500 in your account, you live like a pauper. That means that you go through, you do the absolute bare necessities. And if you are not checks ahead, I cannot suggest, I can't condone any splurge spending, right? Because we hurt ourselves as business owners because we don't think about the future, whether that's in our marketing calendar, in our yearly planner, or in our finances. Number 5 is invest in yourself. So this goes back to personal growth development. When was the last time that you read a self-development book, or listened to an audio book, or took a training or a class? When was the last time that you when I say invest in yourself, when was the last time that you went to a training class and got more education? Whether it's about real estate, whether it's about spiritual health, personal health, whatever it is, and this says allocate 10% of your income to your growth opportunities, to growing. And you may say, well, Neal, how do I know what 10%, which 10%? The rule that we use is whatever your anticipated goal is. So now here's a challenge, and this is going to be, do you really want to make what you want to what you say you do? So here's the goal. Don't do it off of 10% of what you made last year. So if your goal is to make 100,000 in 2019, what's 10% of 100,000? 10,000. My coaches, myself, what we do and what we believe is, if you want to make 100,000, you have to invest on the front end. So you need to go ahead and plan out mentally in your calendar, write down how you're going to spend $10,000 on personal development. Now it gets tough. Now this is where, do you really mean what you say? Because if you mean what you say, there's action involved with that. So what if you come in and you only invest $1,000 or $100? Like, there are a lot of agents who don't spend $100 a year on their personal development, on their growth. So then I sit here and I'm like, so how much do you really expect to make if you're not growing? And then number 6 is pay yourself a salary. This is something that I believe in. Determine your monthly expenses and cut a check for that amount each month. Anything left over should go back into your business. So you should pay yourself a salary, and this is how we get checks ahead. Now, you only pay yourself a salary after you've gotten checks ahead. And so that's something that I believe in and I think works. Finally, we're going to go into how to have your best year ever. The first tip is to manage your energy. And this is not just talking about physical energy, it's also talking about emotional and spiritual energy as well. So if you need to get rid of some people, some activities in your life, go ahead and do that immediately. There's no time like the present right now to make the tough decisions, to take that risk so that you can come out better on the other side. You'll see here on the screen where it talks about fear and worry, indecision, drama, poor health, and lack of direction. Now, if I was a preacher in Alabama, I would say, can I get an amen, somebody? and I'm sure that everyone would jump up and yell. But I want you to think right here. Oh, okay. All right. I want you to think right here. What is causing you fear and worry, indecision, drama, poor health, and a lack of direction? It says they can trap you in a negative state of mind, derail your progress, and steal your motivation. Right. And if any one of you guys are experiencing that right now, I'm going to encourage you to talk to someone, an accountability partner. I will step back on this. Every one of us should have an accountability partner for business and life. Life is not designed to be done alone. We should be doing it in partnership, relationally with someone else. Business is the same way. So find an accountability partner. When I say an accountability partner, they will help you do more than you could ever do by yourself. It needs to be someone first that you like and respect, okay, and that you have a synergy with. And if you cannot think of someone that could be your accountability partner, it's not a yes man or a yes woman. An accountability partner is someone who cares about your success and is willing to tell you what needs to be told in a loving way. So they'll deliver tough news with love, right? So if you guys, and it should be someone that you would be willing to share your goal sheet with right here. You should be willing to share this with them. Maybe not well, I believe that you would share the whole thing, but especially this right here, this last page. So your accountability partner, they should have this. So when you talk, I say weekly, but then when it comes to the beginning of February, you should turn in this to your accountability partner. And because right here it says, did you do what you were supposed to do? Did you hit your numbers for the listing side, for the buyer side? No, you didn't. Why not? And have them ask those questions. But your accountability partner needs to be someone that is going to be on the same page with you, and hopefully they'll be doing the same things. That way, it's apples to apples. Number 2, write goals and review regularly. So write them down and know what your goals are. So I'm at my desk most of my day when I'm not out with clients or meeting with you guys. I have my goals right here over my shoulder. And so I see them every day. So I know what my goals are. So I'm always looking at them. I'm always seeing them. And then you guys see little pieces of my vision wall up there. So I know and you should know what your month is going to look like based on your daily activities. So if you hit every one of your daily goals, it shouldn't be long before your your weekly goals are in line, your monthly goals are in line, your quarterly goals. And then you look up and you'll say, okay, I like the path that I'm on, the track that I'm on. Then you start building momentum. Requalify your database. The holidays is a great time. The holidays is a great time for us to get in contact with our database and say, hey, how are you doing? How was your Thanksgiving? Happy Thanksgiving. What did you eat? So I'm making a lot of phone calls today. I'm doing the video messages today to find out what they're doing. To open up the door. And then there are some dialogues that I'll use. But a lot of the people that we think are our A pluses and our A's are probably our D's. They should probably be deleted. When you can have an honest look at your database and say, this person sent me business, this person sent me numerous referrals, those should be your A pluses. The ones who have not, remove them. Know where we're going to spend our time. Don't forget, like I said when we started, we want to increase the outputs that matter. We want to make sure that 60% of our week is spent on needle movers. We want to invest our time into the people who are going to generate the most amount of business time and positive feelings. So here are some proven dialogues for people you don't know well. This is the Buffini. Oh, by the way, I know that a lot of you are familiar with it. If you were buying or selling a home, or had a friend or family member who was, do you have a real estate agent you would refer them to? That's a simple, easy thing to get in. And then if they say yes, That's great. It's important you have a qualified professional to work with. The point is, not to invest time. So if they say, yes, I do, all right, your A plus or your A now becomes a C or D. Right now, if they say, it's you, of course it's you. Right. And then, of course, if they say no, you say, well, I'd like to be that person. And you go into another conversation. I'll share this right here with all of you. I'll share everything that I have that I've gone over during this call. I'll just share with you guys directly. And Tamika, for this one here, this will be unlocked, so you can come in and you can do this for your agents. You can make this your own, and then this will be something that you can go in and do for your entire team. All right. And then schedule your week. We've already talked about scheduling your week. So I do Sunday planning. My wife and I, we do Sunday planning. This came from Darren Hardy, from author of The Compound Effect. So Sunday night from 7 to 8, I go through and I plan the rest of my week. That's why with my calendar that is in my bedroom, my calendar that I usually have, I know on Sunday, what the rest of my week looks like. So I will have that wiggle room space. I'll have my buyer appointment set. I'll have all of those things set. Like, for instance, next week, I know that I'm doing some interviews for the vlog, for our 2-6, for the 2-6 vlog that we do. Or YouTube show that we do. So I already know that. So you want to make sure that you schedule your week. And we want to start with the big rocks, the things that the needle movers, put those in and then work around those. And those big rocks are going to be what we call the non-negotiables. We're back to invest in yourself. That is, spend that time, spend that money to make yourself better. So those are the tips to have your best year ever. 5 tips there. 6 tips for the successful to be successfully self-employed. And then we have this sample daily schedule that I'll send to you guys as well. So that's everything that I have for you. I'm going to ask, is there anything that you guys have, any questions, comments, concerns that you would like to share before we adjourn? Going once. Going twice. So good stuff, Chantra. Absolutely my pleasure, ma'am. So guys, we're going to have, I believe we're going to have a few more of these. I'm going to also send out an invite. Well, most of you should have an invite from Dan Longman to go to the event on the 6th. He's also going to do a lunch and learn on December 12th. And I'm going to get the location, the time, and I'll share that to everyone that's on the call. Because for December 12th, every year he does, we ascribe to the same training, the same coaching method. So he's going to do a goal setting and he has some really cool tools and resources that he's going to share with you all. So I'm going to ask, when I send that to you guys, make sure you RSVP probably with Kelly over in his office. We have William Calvin, who is doing a branding for realtors class along with, I think, the law firm. And I'm not totally, I think that might be the 30th of this month. I'm not totally sure, but they're going to be doing that. So I'm going to ask, so like I said, I'll send all those out to you guys because I believe they're fantastic opportunities from allied resources, from strategic partners who want to see you grow, want to see your business grows. And on the very last note, I want to, okay, so Tamika, if you would send, so she's sending that to everyone. If you would get that information over to me, then I will blast it out to everyone so that they can have it. So that's fantastic. Thank you. The last thing, if your strategic partners or if your allied resources or your affiliates, whatever you want to call them, if they are not helping you grow your business, that could be, and that does not mean inviting you to a happy hour only. That means pouring back into your business, pouring back into your agents, upgrade your affiliates. And I tell all of mine right up front. I just had a meeting with Dan last week. I said, Dan, you're doing a fantastic job. What are we doing to go even higher this year? So the trainings that he's offering, the partnership, and don't go to your affiliates just asking them to co-brand. Don't just go to them asking them to pay for your Zillow, for your Trulia, your homes.com, whatever it is. Get real value from them. Ask them for coaching opportunity. Ask them what their thought is and what their feelings are on the market, what's going to happen in 2019. Last, and then I'm going to let you guys go. So this is so important. All of the analysts are saying that for 2019, we're expecting a tightening of the market. So this does not mean that we're anticipating a huge downturn, but the number of transactions we're anticipating the number of transactions are either going to go down or stay about the same. It's going to be harder. Agents are going to have to work twice as hard to make the same amount of money, in essence. That's where we are. That's what we're believing. So it's good and bad. So the thing is that for the great agents, for those who are exceptional, they are going to be sharing. For the ones that are good, they're going to be taking from those who are mediocre. The mediocre in the coming year, they're going to get lost. Right? So what I'm going to challenge you all to do, you have to be like the NAREP, the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. They have the NAREP 10, and one of those goals that they have is to be in the top 10%, 20 or 10% of the industry. I'm telling you, if you're not in the top 20 to 30% next year, your business is going to be hurting, and then you're going to be on the verge of leaving the industry. Right? And I say that to you guys, to us here on this call, because I want you to understand where we are. There are 180,000 realtors. That's not real estate licensees. That's realtors, but they ascribe to the Code of Ethics from the National Association of Realtors. There are 180,000 realtors in Florida, right? In our association in Miami, we're at 47, 48, almost 50,000. 10%, about 5,000, about 4,500. Those are the agents who are doing business. Think about the agents that you see on the listing side. If you're a listing agent, think about the agents that you see submitting offers on your properties. The reality is the number is really, really small. I'm telling you right now, that number is even going to get smaller in 2019. So that should be encouraging if you're going to be one of those who are going to step your game up and go hard and get better. And it's going to be an eye-opener for those of us who are on the fence and barely making it, because I anticipate a lot of the agents are going to leave the industry when they have to work for a living. Let me see, successful self-employment. I will send, so Prime, I'll send those slides to you. I get those from my coaching program that I pay for, but I'll be glad to share that with you guys. All right, so that's it. That's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for being on the call. I'm excited about what the rest of 2018 has and what 2019 is going to bring in. I'm going to challenge you guys once again. Do not slack. Do not take time off. Don't rest when the competition rests. Right now, everyone is in holiday mode. There's going to be very few intentional action taken towards success the rest of the year. We're going to hear, well, it's a time of the year when things slow down, the industry, and now's the time that if we push hard, if we get in front of our contacts, if we get in front of our sphere of influence and say, hey, what are you doing? A great question that I like to ask is, what goal can I help you reach in 2019 that you didn't reach this year? Right? What can I do to be of service to you? Because service is always appreciated. We know that we are underserviced, underappreciated. So that's going to be something that I'm going to encourage you guys to do. All right, that was my last. I have nothing else for you other than to tell you I love each and every one of you. I hope that you know that. I hope you feel that coming through your computer screen, phone screen, or just the audio right now. But I love all of you. Don't forget that. Do me a favor. Make sure you share your love with someone today so that they know. Because when we see someone, we never know what they're dealing with. But I can guarantee no matter who you talk to, who you see, who you cross today, they're dealing with something. So I love you guys. Don't forget that. And most importantly, don't be average. Be world renowned. Unless you're with Redbird Realty, then do we got a sign that we throw up for Redbird, Tamika? No, we ain't ganging. No, okay. Tamika, like Neal, you a fool. It's all right. All right, love you guys. Go do something productive. Go make today awesome. Bye.